Lição 14 do Básico, Introduzindo Present Perfect. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
How are you, dears? Good?
I'm all right. I'm all right, thanks. And you?
I'm okay, thank you. Mario, I hope you're fine. Tainá, how are you? Are you okay? Are you going to use your microphone today to talk to me, or you're going to be quiet again? I think you're going to be quiet again, right? Okay. Anyway, yesterday we were discussing once again the use of the simple past and the present perfect, and we stopped right at the point we were going to start again talking about the use of the present perfect, which is not yet commonly used by students. Okay? So I think this is exactly where we stopped yesterday. Is that right, Regina or Dirce?
Yes, in this point.
Okay, good. Dirce, would you mind reading for me the introduction, please?
Primarily used to describe complete the action that happened,
Yes, happened.
Happened at some indefinite.
You were right.
Or not important time in the past. I shouldn't mention the time in this kind of sentence. I can be a single repeated action.
Okay. Any question about this or no? So yesterday, what we saw is the simple past is used when you have a definite time in the past. For example, I saw that movie last year, right? We have here a time expression last year. And this is very important. If you don't mention it, I will probably ask you, really, when? On the other hand, the present perfect can describe a completed action in the past, but not at some definite time. The time is not important. What is important is the action, right? So the equivalent sentence, would be, I have seen that movie. In this case, I'm never going to ask you, really, when? Because you already told me you don't know, you don't remember. That's not important. What is important is that you saw the movie. Understand the point? Regina, Dirce, Tainá, Érica, Márcia.
Yes, teacher. Yes.
Hello, girls.
Hi, teacher.
Hello. So, this is exactly what you Brazilians have to remember. Okay? And most important, what you have to start using. Because very few Brazilians use the present perfect. I don't know why. I myself use it all the time because I do remember the actions. I do remember the experiences I've had in my life, but I don't remember when. For instance, if you look at my background, there is a castle. It's called Stupinigi Castle. Well, it's here near Turin in Italy. I've been there. I have seen all the rooms, I have visited the gardens, everything. But don't ask me when. I only remember I have been there. It's different of I went, for example, I went to the Sputnik Castle last weekend. You see, in this case, I remember the action and the time, which is not my case. I remember the castle. I remember the sculptures inside of the castle. I remember the car that was outside the castle. You see, there is a very colorful, sort of modern sculpture. I don't know what you call it. It's a modern thing in front of the castle. I remember the paintings inside of the castle. I remember everything. I just don't remember when. So I can say, oh, I have been to this castle. You see, in this case, I'm telling you, I remember the experience, but I just don't remember the time. So how is the present perfect formed? I need to use the subject, I, you, he, she, we, you, and they, plus have, and for the third person, he, she, we need to use has, plus the verb in the past participle. What is the past participle? If the verb is regular, it's the same. Like work, in the past, worked, past participle, worked. But if the verb is irregular, you have to memorize, which is the case of the verb to see. The past tense is saw, the past participle is seen. It's the case of the verb to be. The past tense is I was or you were, and the past participle is been. Okay? So, there are some examples here, and in my opinion, why Brazilians don't use it? Because if you think in Portuguese, you will never construct a sentence like eu tenho estado, eu tenho visto. Nobody talks like this. Okay? I know there is a girl in the other class that told me, oh, teacher, yes, we talk like this. And then she started singing a song. Eu tenho estado tão sozinho ultimamente. Okay? I said, well, okay. Maybe that song is possible, but I never heard anybody saying, eu tenho experimentado, eu tenho comido, eu tenho ido. Nobody talks like this. So what is probably the best way for you to remember and to start using the present perfect accordingly is if you think like I wrote down here. I have seen this movie 3 times. Don't think eu tenho visto, but think like já vi esse filme 3 vezes. You see, probably if you put in your mind já vi, já comi, já bebi, já estive, and then you start using present perfect. So to say like eu já, just say I have, and then use the past participle. I have been, I have seen. Okay, sometimes I go to a Japanese restaurant, and every time I go to a Japanese restaurant, the food is always different, surprising, delicious. But many times I find different food. And then I look, what is this? And they give me some funny names. Then I say, okay, I try everything, of course. And then I try. The taste is familiar. Then I think, oh, I've tried this before. Eu já experimentei isso antes. Okay? Maybe the shape, the layout, the design of the food was different, but the taste was the same. So this is the case we use the present perfect. Okay? Like, já experimentei isso. Ou já comi isso. Okay? Like, I've tried this. I've eaten this. Okay? And there is another example here. I've been here before. which is like, já estive aqui antes. Okay? Or she hasn't finished her homework yet. Ela não acabou a tarefa ainda. You see, ainda is not a definite time. Okay? Understand what I'm saying? Everybody's quiet. Just say, yes, teacher, I understand. Or no, I don't understand. What are you talking about? Come on.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Teacher.
Thank you. Okay, now it's getting better.
For
Okay?
me, it's very difficult.
Is it difficult?
Yes.
Let's try to understand why is it difficult.
I don't know.
But do you try to organize your ideas in Portuguese before you say it in English or no?
Yes.
Yeah. But then try to think like I told you. What do you want to say? Eu vi esse filme ontem. This is simple past. I saw this movie yesterday. I saw this movie when I was a little girl. It's okay. When I was a little girl. Even if this was like 30 years ago, 40 years ago, that's not important. It is a time expression. Okay? And the present perfect we use when we don't have any idea about the time. We just remember the movie. Okay? Then we say, I've seen this movie. Já vi esse filme. How many times, I don't know if this has happened to you, but it has happened to me a lot. I go on Netflix, I see there all the movies, and then I say, this sounds good, and I click. And the movie starts, this movie is good. And I continue. After 20, 30 minutes, I've seen this movie. I just remember after 20 minutes or 30 minutes, sometimes at the end of the movie. Okay?
Like
because
me.
I forgot. Yes. Okay? But you see, this is the case of the present perfect. Like, I've seen this movie. Okay? And then sometimes I continue. Sometimes I stop because I remember the end, then I stop and I change. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Another use of the simple past that we talked about yesterday was to describe an action which started in the past, started, and finished in the past. And we remember the period, or we remember the duration, okay? I can say, for example, let me try to use this space here. I'm going to write here. This is the second use of the present perfect, all right? Like, I lived in Campinas for 5 years. I lived, simple past. So when you listen to this, what do you have to understand? Do I live in Campinas now?
No.
No. I don't live in Campinas anymore. I lived. Like Marcia lived in Londrina for many years. Okay? Regina lived in Maracatu, Maracanjá. I don't remember, the names are complicated. Regina, help me, please. Para what? What was the name of the city that you lived in before moving to Floripa?
My internet is connecting unstable.
The connection is unstable. But do you...
Connection. But I lived in Maracajá for 14 years.
Okay, Maracajá. Yes, thank you. It's almost like Maracujá, but it's Maracajá. So, you see, she lived in Maracajá. Okay? But not today, right? Now, Today, if I want to talk about Regina, I'm going to say, she's lived in Floripa for how many years, Regina? 5?
What?
How many years in Floripa? Her connection is bad.
I live in Florianopolis 30 years. Yes, my connection is
13 or
very
30?
30.
30.
30. Yes.
30 years.
Yes.
Okay. You see, when I say she has lived, what is the difference? She still lives.
No, it's wrong, teacher. I have lived.
Yes, I'm talking about Regina. Oh, she has lived. Understand? Oh,
No,
I
but
said,
it is
no.
wrong because I continue living here.
Yes, that's why I use the present perfect. Regina has lived.
Yes.
But the contraction, Regina, is apostrophe S. It's the same of the verb to be.
Yes.
Okay? So
Okay.
Regina's lived in Floripa for 30 years. Now, Márcia lived in Londrina, but now she lives in São Paulo. Right, Márcia?
Right.
For how long?
13 years old.
No, not old, 15 years.
Years.
Márcia lived in Londrina for 30 years.
35.
35 years.
Yes. But in
Okay. Now,
São Paulo.
she has lived in São Paulo for 5 years. Yes? No?
13.
13.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes. Okay.
So when I use the simple past, it means the action finished. When I use the present perfect, it means the action continues until this moment. Okay? This is very important to pay attention. I can give you another example, for example. Oh, I went out with a fictional name, Raimunda, for 3 years. If you ask me, where is Raimunda now, teacher? I have no idea. Is Raimunda single or married? I have no idea. Does Raimunda have any children? I have no idea. Okay? Why? I went out with her for 3 years. But that was a long time ago. Now, what's the difference? Oh, I have been with my wife for 35 years. You see? So if you ask me, where's your wife? I know. I know everything because I am still with my wife. I'm not separated. I'm not divorced. Understand the difference? But Raimunda is past in my life. I don't even remember the appearance very well. If I see her today on the street, maybe I won't recognize her. Okay? This is why it's important to use. And sometimes when you are having a conversation, if you, for example, if the person says, I've worked in this company for 10 years, and you don't pay attention to what happens? Probably you're going to ask him, why did you stop? And he's going to say, what? Why did you stop working? I never stopped. You see, I've worked. That means I continue to work. It's different of I worked for that company for 10 years. Can you see the difference? I worked, I've worked. In the first case, I still work. In the second case, I don't work anymore. Okay? So let's see these here. Erika, can you
Yes.
please read this for me? It's also used.
It's also used to talk about actions that started in the past and are still going on in the present. In this case, we usually introduce the duration of the actions by since, plus the point in time when the action started, or for, plus the duration of the action.
Yes, you have a choice. You can use since or for. Okay, like I've studied English for 3 months. And again, Márcio, observe that you don't say eu tenho estudado. You simply say eu estudo inglês há 3 meses. That means you continue to study. Okay? Oh, I have studied English since March. Okay? Or if I consider now, March, April, May, June, July. We are in August, so let's say for 5 months. Okay? So it's going to be, okay, 5 months. I have studied English since March. I have been married for 35 years. And that means I am still married. Understand the difference? Okay?
Okay.
Understand this? Okay, Tainá?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, Natalie, understand this, Natalie? Eric, understand this difference? Eric? Mr. Telemaco Borba,
Oh,
Malinowski.
sorry. I mute. Yes.
Okay, thank you for
Okay.
confirming. Okay, good. Now, another important thing is here. If I want to talk about a repeated action in the past, something that happened many times, the simple past we saw there was a single action, one action, with a time. Now imagine if it's 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. It's impossible to use the simple past because it would be necessary to mention all the times. Sometimes we don't remember even once. Imagine 4, 5, 6, 7 times. So if you ask me like, teacher, have you ever been to New York? Oh yeah, I've been to New York more than, I don't know, 100 times, okay? So if I use the simple past, it would be necessary to say, oh yes, the first time I went to New York was in 1977. Then I went to New York again in 1978, 3 times. And then in 1979, I went twice. Imagine, who has a memory to remember all the times? Impossible. Present perfect. Oh, I've been to New York many times. I've been to Floripa only once. Only once. I would like to go again, but I've been there once. Okay? Now, if you ask me when, I have no idea, but I have been there. Okay? Understand this?
Yes.
Excellent. Regina, can you read the next part? 2.3.
2.3.
The present perfect.
Where is the two? No.
Here,
What?
look at the screen.
Okay. The present. expensive car I have ever bought. She is the most beautiful girl I have ever met in my life.
Congelou,
Only
prof.
Prof congelou agora.
Teacher's frozen.
My connection is stable. Oh, unstable.
We don't listen all that you said.
Oh,
Only a part.
quase todos os dias nesse horário ela fica assim ruim.
Ah, o meu direto.
É. Congestionamento.
Toma água.
If I connect in the cell phone, the internet has troubles, but in the notebook, it's better.
É.
Yes.
This is minha rede aqui que é. E já aumentamos o limite, mas não adiantou nada.
And how is the weather today in Florida?
Yes. It's cold, very cold.
Yes, here too.
Mm.
And it's raining a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. The weather forecast for tomorrow is maximum of 12 degrees here.
Oh,
Wow.
I don't like cold weather.
Very, very. Here, I think 10. I think
10? Oh my
10.
God.
Yeah.
And do you like cold weather?
No, I don't. I don't.
Okay. Have you ever been in São Paulo, Regina?
Yes, I like very much São Paulo.
Oh,
Good place, good theater.
Yes, it's really.
Food is very good.
Yes. When we are going to here, we need to meet us.
Yes, yes. You too.
Yes, with Masha, this, everybody.
Yes.
After the coronavirus.
Yes.
yes.
It's a good idea.
Yes.
Remember the class and the teacher.
Yes.
But we must talk English, no Portuguese.
This way we train our English.
Yes,
and you will be proud of us. I've been in Floripa once only.
Hello, I'm back.
Hello, teacher.
Hello, where are you, teacher?
It was very funny. I'm sorry.
When we talk about the teacher, he appears.
Yes, of course. So never say anything bad about me, okay? Because
no, only good.
I can imagine. I'm like. Do you remember the Terminator?
The Terminator?
Yes, with Schwarzenegger. You know? Yeah, it's like, if I freeze, don't worry, I'll be back. Okay?
Yeah.
No, and it was very funny because I asked Regina to read, and then you, where? And then you became very silent. And I thought, Regina, what's the problem? Regina. And then when I looked, it wasn't your problem. It was my internet. I was frozen. Okay, so I'm sorry. Okay, Regina, it's here for you. Can you read it for me, please?
Okay, 2.3.
Yes.
The present perfect should also be used after the superlative in situation like this. This is the best movie I've ever seen. That was the most expensive car I have ever bought. She is the most beautiful girl I have ever met in my life.
Okay, observe these constructions, please. Do you remember that in our previous material, we talked about the superlative? Remember?
Yes.
The most expensive, the most beautiful, the best, the worst. Well, when you say this is a very good movie, okay, this is a very good movie. This is the best movie. When you say the best movie, what are you doing? You are comparing this movie with all the other movies you have seen in your life. Understand? So after the superlative, it's classical to use the present perfect. You cannot say, this is the best movie I saw. No, this is the best movie I've, and if you want, ever seen. Que eu algum dia já vi. That was the most expensive car I have ever bought. Okay? She is the most beautiful girl I've met in my life. Talking about my wife.
It's a good example.
Yes, that's why I married her. Okay?
Yes.
Understand this?
Yes.
Yes.
So you use any sentence in the superlative. Ooh, this is the best Japanese restaurant I've ever been. I'm comparing this Japanese restaurant with all the others. Okay? This is the most interesting place I have ever visited. I'm comparing this with all the other places. All right?
All right.
So pay attention here to the formation. Oh, as I told you, we say I, you, we, or they plus have plus the verb in the past participle. He, she, it plus has plus the verb in the past participle. In this case, the auxiliary verb is have or has. So if you want to ask questions in the present perfect, you say, have you been to Malta, Marcia?
Pardon?
Have you been to Malta?
Yes.
I have.
Yes, I
I
have.
have. Okay?
Okay.
Understand this? Okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
If you want to make a negative sentence, it's just necessary to add the not after the verb to have. For example, they're showing a new movie at the theater. What's the name of the movie? Survivors. I think I haven't seen this movie. I haven't seen. Okay? In my life, one day, I have not seen. Maybe after 30 minutes, oh, I've seen this movie. Okay? Maybe. It's possible. Understand? And if you want to ask, have you seen? Has she seen? And blah, blah, blah. So observe here that to use the past participle, I need the third column. When you have a list of verbs, you have the first is the present, like work, live, love, like, see, go. Then you have the second column, the simple past that we talked about last class. And if you observe, the past participle of the regular verbs is similar. All work, worked, worked. Live, lived, lived. Love, loved, loved. Like, liked, liked. See, irregular. Saw, seen. Go, went, gone. Okay? Be, in the past was our word, past participle, been. Cut, 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 cut. It's the same. So it's irregular. Do, did, done. Okay? Like, have you done your homework? Yes, teacher, I've done my homework. No, teacher, I haven't done my homework. Okay?
Okay.
So unfortunately, you need to memorize the past participle of the irregular verbs. The regular, no, it's the same. Okay? So, just to finish, let's compare the examples. Tainá, can you read these examples for me, please, in the simple past and the present perfect? The first idea.
I saw that movie last night.
Okay.
I met Mary last weekend.
I met. In the past.
Okay.
In the present, you say I meet.
I read one simple past and one present perfect.
Yes. So you can have the comparison. I saw that movie last night.
And I've seen that movie.
Good, Tainá. The other one. I met Mary.
I met Mary last weekend. I've met Mary before.
I've met. Okay.
Mary before. I went to New York in 2006.
2016.
And I've been to New York.
Okay. Compare the examples, please. In the simple past, in the three examples, you have the time expressions of last night, last weekend, in 2016. Now, if you look on the other side, I've seen that movie. I've met Mary before. I've been to New York. No time in reference, only the actions. Understand? So that's the first idea of the simple past and the present perfect. All right? Now, Dirce, can you read there are more examples here. Can you read them for me, please?
I read this book last year.
I read. It's in the past.
Sorry. I read this book last year. I've read this book.
Okay.
I tried paella last month. I've tried paella.
Okay.
I saw her at work this morning. I've never seen her at work. I went to Europe in 2008. I've been to Europe many times.
Okay. Understand the difference? Oh, last year, last month, this morning, in 2008. On the other side, this book, I've read this book. Já li esse livro. I've tried paella. In English, your Spanish is very good, okay, Dirce? But in English, they say paella.
But no.
Yeah. You know, it's the American way of pronouncing paella, okay?
But in Espanhol is paella.
Yeah, it depends on where you are.
Yes.
Okay?
But if the food...
Maybe in Argentina they say paella. Paella, okay? So it depends. I'm quite sure that in Spain they say paella, okay?
Paella?
Yeah. I went to, what's the name? It's a famous one.
Here too, because the
Argentinians
come back.
Yeah, yes, to Floripa.
Yes.
I went to Valencia, and there is a very classical paella valenciana. Okay? Yes, and they say paella. Okay, but I've heard paella, okay?
Paella.
And in English, they say paella. Okay? Yes. So I saw her work this morning. I've never seen her at work. Okay, probably the secretary of the president. Okay, I've never seen her at work. I went to Europe in 2008. I've been to Europe many times. You see, a repeated action. All the examples were the first idea. Let's see the second idea now. Okay, Erica, can you read for me? Mary?
Mary lived in São Paulo for 5 years. She doesn't live there anymore. Mary's lived in São Paulo for 5 years. She still lives there.
See the difference? In the first case, she doesn't live anymore. In the second case, she still lives there. That example, Erica.
I went out with Mary for 3 years. I've been going out with Mary for 3 years. I still go out with her.
In the first case, I don't
In the
go
first
out
case,
with...
I don't go out with her anymore.
Okay, and the last example.
I taught English for 10 years. I don't teach anymore. I've taught English all my life. I still teach English.
You see?
Yes.
Completely different. And if you don't observe in the middle of the conversation, the I've, like I taught English for 10 years and I've taught English for 10 years, you misunderstand completely the situation. Because you think the person stopped, but the person has not stopped. Okay?
Okay, teacher.
Now, let's go to the other side of the word. Me. Hello, me. How are you?
Hi, teacher. I am fine. Sorry for the delay.
No problem. Better late than never. Okay?
Yes.
Can you read the examples concerning the third idea of the present perfect?
Yes. That book was very good. This movie is really nice. Or I read beside.
Read, yes. Read the simple past and the present perfect.
That book was very good. That is the best book I've read. This movie is really nice. This is the nicest movie I've ever seen. She was very beautiful. She was the most beautiful woman I've ever met in my life.
Can you see the difference or no?
Yes.
Yes.
In the first case, was good. In the second case, it's more than good. Much more. It's the best superlative. Then it requires that you use the present perfect. Okay?
Okay.
Excellent. Let's see what we have in the next part.
Teacher.
Yes. Go ahead.
Ever is mandatory in
No.
phrase?
No. Ever, okay? I have heard many teachers, okay, saying that ever, okay, I wanted to write here. Ever, okay, you want to write here, no problem. Ever is the opposite of never, because never means not ever. When I put together not ever, never, right? And then people think never, well, if it's not ever, ever only is always. No. Ever means one day in your life. Okay? One time, one day, one opportunity. So we use it in the present perfect only to emphasize. But if you don't want to use it, it's okay. It's not mandatory. Okay?
Okay.
That's the best movie I have ever seen in my life. Okay?
Okay.
All right? And many times in question. Okay? You listen. It's very common to ask questions in the present perfect using ever. For example, now, please write here. Don't disappoint me. No, I don't want to write. Yeah.
Nice.
Where? I want to write here. Not, yes, here. Have you ever seen the rain coming down on
Sunny day.
Oh, okay. So it is very common. Have you ever been to São Paulo? Have you ever been to that barbecue place called Fogo no Chão? Okay. Have you ever seen the rain coming down on sunny day? Okay. It's only to emphasize, if you one day in your life you had the experience of doing this, of seeing this, I can also ask you, for example, let's suppose that I am in a party talking to someone and you arrive. Oh, hello. How are you? Oh, very well. How about you? I'm doing fine. Then I ask you, oh, Eric, have you ever met Sue? Then you look at her, I don't think so. Then I make the introduction. Sue, this is Eric. Eric, this is Sue. Hi, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too. Okay? This is just used to emphasize the sentence. Have you ever, in one day in your life, had the experience of meeting Sue? Okay?
Okay.
Any question or no?
No.
Well, we talked about two very important things. Very, extremely important. Tomorrow, we are going to learn how to ask questions. All kinds of questions you can imagine. So, yes or no questions, or I try to give as many examples as possible. And then we are also going to learn how to ask questions with all the question words that I could remember. Maybe there are more, but I remember more than 20. Who, whom, what, when, why, which, whose, how long, how big. Oh, there are many, many things to be studied tomorrow, okay? Oh, how large, how deep is your love? How deep, okay? Is, how wide, okay? How old, how many, how much, yes, how old are you? How far, how fast, how often, what time? I couldn't remember, but there are more than 20 important question words that we are going to learn how to ask questions correctly. Okay?
Okay, teacher.
So today we can stop here and tomorrow we'll continue. I hope you have a wonderful evening and I'll see you tomorrow. All right?
All right, teacher. Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
See you. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, teacher. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.